Please be seated. Good evening, and welcome to our 21st commencement ceremony for the LaPorte County Problem Solving Court. We're so happy to be here and to have you join us in this celebration. Having celebrated our 10th anniversary last spring, we're pleased to celebrate another 4 graduates this year, bringing our total number of graduates to 84 from this program. And tonight we will celebrate 4 more people who managed not only to battle their substance use disorder and do so, but they did so under the restrictions of a pandemic, which is remarkable. I know we have some people who are here for the first time, and I also know that we have some people who have attended almost every single graduation. As always, we will open the ceremony by playing the video that gives us the message that we believe in, the same message of hope as we recognize that some people change. A commencement signifies both an ending and a new beginning. And for Damon, Chris, Missy, and Ryan, this evening means they'll be ending their time with this program, but it marks the beginning of what Missy told me is her 3rd life, one after drugs and alcohol. Tonight we recognize these 4 individuals for all the grueling work that they have done in order to complete the requirements of problem-solving court. They have spent countless months with therapists, case managers, mentors, sponsors, me, members of this team, in order to be able to sit here this evening. They will no longer be monitored by this court, but they will in fact continue to monitor themselves with the help of the recovery communities that they've built along their journey. And by your presence here tonight, you are showing them that you are part of that community of support. Many of you are family and friends, but some of you don't know them at all. But you believe that we are bound together in this life, and that if one rises, we all rise. So for that, I thank you. Our graduates came into this program having lost so much. While many still had family in their corner, most of them had lost jobs. They had all lost self-esteem, confidence, trust in others. They had lost their health, and perhaps they had lost the most dangerous thing anyone can ever lose, and that's hope. Through their tireless and intensive work, they have rebuilt their lives and created lives far beyond what they once could have imagined. Make no mistake, this is a relentless disease. If it does not have you in its grip, it stands on the sidelines, waiting for any sign of weakness. Addiction isolates you, and it tricks you into thinking that you are alone and that no one cares what you do. Our 4 graduates need do nothing more than look around this room and see that they have the support of this community, not just tonight when things are good, but tomorrow and in the future when things get a little tougher. They need all the love and support that we can give them and guide them on their path. You 4 know what it is like to be robbed of everything good on this earth, and it is our hope that each of you have learned along the way that you don't need to fight battles alone. We gain strength from you this evening, and I hope you will gain strength as you look around this community. And just to give you an example of the type of support and generosity we have in this community, we have a group every year at Christmas time, and I don't know how much it is, but it's usually around $100, and they drop it off. This is a gift from a group of people who gather most every morning at 2 tables at the Hot Spot Cafe for coffee and conversation. We drop our change into a jug, and throughout the year, we then divide up what's accumulated and distribute it to organizations, including yours, that we want to support. Sharon, John, Georgia, Dennis, Lee, and Marshall at table 2. So, Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Morris. That is just a small sampling of the kind of support that you guys have. It's a tremendous privilege and an opportunity to work with the people in this program and to see the changes that take place in their lives. While the participants do the day-to-day hard work of learning honesty, accountability, how to use the tools that they need to change, they can do it only because they have an amazing team of dedicated professionals who give endless time and care, all the while holding them accountable on their path of recovery and change. So I would like to recognize the members of the team who are behind me. If you'd please stand up. Barb Stooksbury from the prosecutor's office. Mr. Page couldn't be here this evening. He's our defense attorney. Deb Leroy, who does our assessments with the LADS program. Jeremy Benstein from Community Corrections. Jerry Stein and Katie Jesniski from Swanson Center. Paula Dranger from Choices Counseling. Sergeant Adam Hannon from the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department. Ashley Ortega, Eric LaRue, and Carissa Strader, all case managers, and Ms. Strader is the program coordinator as well. Angela Case is our bailiff, and Mr. Irick is back there over here, who runs these operations constantly, so thank you. If we've got, and I know we do, former members of the team, would you please stand up so that I can acknowledge you as well? Mr. Buell, Mr. Silver, and Mr. Garcia. Thank you. I know we've got some elected officials, and I will ask you to stand so we can acknowledge you and thank you for your support too. Very good. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Mrzinski, Mayor Dermody, Councilman Novak, Councilman Rosenbaum, Judge Stahlbrink, Magistrate Link. I would also like the other law enforcement officers here. Would you please stand too as well? I would like to also extend a special thank you to outgoing Sheriff John Boyd and outgoing Prosecutor John Lake for their constant support of this program. We literally could not function without the backing of both the Sheriff's Office and the Prosecutor's Office, so thank you. While we are the most intense type of alternative court in the county, we're not the only one. We have several other problem-solving type courts operating to help individuals. Judge Stahlbrink operates our reentry court. Judge Thorne oversees our Veterans Treatment Court, and Magistrate Muncie operates our Family Recovery Court. So thank you for what you do. Well, I've always been appreciative of the work that this team does. My respect for them has grown in the last 2.5 years. As I've mentioned, they have come up with amazingly creative solutions to make sure that services would continue during the challenges of COVID, and I think we have now figured out how to navigate that. But early on, while services were shutting down and very limited, things like heroin, prescription drugs, synthetic opioids, and alcohol delivered directly to your door became easier and easier to come by. And this meant that this team had to get even more creative to see that the needs of people fighting hard to battle addictions could be met. While many services stopped for at least a period of time, the courts and treatment never did because we couldn't. We learned to adapt and do things we never thought we could do. And it is these people behind me who do not have just a job, they have a calling, and they are some of the best at what they do. They are very humble, and they will never get enough credit. This program could not exist without you all. Before this program began, there were some folks who questioned whether this program was worthwhile. But if you look in your program, the Starfish Story talks about the other thought process, which if you can save even one, and that is the philosophy of the folks behind me. I often recount the tale, and those of you who've been here before have heard me say. A friend of mine once said that a life well lived does not consist of making your dreams come true, it consists of making other people's dreams come true. And that is what the team behind me does. So once again, thank you so much.
People have a view of what they think a heroin addict is, and most of the time when I tell people that I'm a recovering heroin addict, they don't believe me. I didn't get sober by people giving me a hug or telling me it was going to be all right. I got sober by people saying, you know what, Justin, your behaviors are off the wall, and you need to do something to change them. It's crazy now to look at my life as I'm getting married, and I'll be sober at that wedding. If I can affect one kid or one inmate or one person, hey, you know, we're saving one life, and that life matters.
At each ceremony, we ask someone who has graduated to come say a few words about their journey. It's especially helpful to those who are moving on from the program. They're both proud and excited, but they're also a little apprehensive as to what the next step of the journey looks like and how they'll make their way without the support and accountability that this program provides. The real test comes when you leave this program and take all that you've learned and you go out and you live your recovery. I think it is important to make note that a life in recovery does not mean you won't fail or you won't falter or maybe even relapse. This is a relapsing disease. So that means that anyone in recovery can, if they let their guard down, falter. Most, however, if they really want recovery, they get up, they dust themselves off, reach out to their support network, they reevaluate the situation, and they get back on the path. And that is what recovery looks like. I show you that slide simply to illustrate that if you don't have any experience with addiction or recovery, you think it looks like that nice line going up. It doesn't. It looks like that second picture. So that gives you an idea of what people in this program face when they decide they want to get healthy. Recovery is not perfection, it's progress, and this program doesn't turn out perfect people. Sometimes our graduates slip and fall, but more often than not, they get up, they dig deep, and they take up the fight stronger than before. We don't celebrate perfection, we celebrate fighters. And this evening, our graduate speaker is someone who is a remarkable woman, and she inspires so many people within the recovery community and elsewhere with her positive and remarkable spirit. So please welcome Colleen, an incredible woman who continues her life of recovery, and she wants to share a few thoughts with us about her journey. She is one of the most positive and beautiful ambassadors for recovery that I know. Colleen?
Well, it's not a few words, but I'll go fast. It's a pleasure to be back in the courtroom today. I was very grateful to receive an invitation such as this. First off, let me introduce myself. I am Colleen. I am a former participant and graduate of the program. I am living proof that you too can graduate and continue to live a beautiful life of sobriety long after your journey when the program ends. I know the path that has led our graduates to this point has not been easy. In many ways, it's been an uphill battle. You've had good days and you've had bad days. And I'm sure there were moments of doubt and difficulty when the way forward was anything but clear. But the fact that you are here this evening is a testament to the strength that defines every individual who enters treatment, dedicates themselves to change, and summons the courage and the resolve to start down the road to recovery and sobriety. For each of you, this program presented an opportunity and indeed a challenge to be honest with yourself, your family, and your friends. Today's graduates have made it as the result of months of hard work, perseverance, and dedication. Those who are still progressing through the program have demonstrated their willingness to confront problems with addiction and work to reclaim their futures. Many have already made remarkable strides, and I hope that all of the current participants will be encouraged by what their peers have accomplished and seize this opportunity and seize this opportunity to reaffirm your commitment to turning your life around, rebuilding relationships with family and friends, and overcoming every obstacle that stands in your way. When I began the program, I thought, okay, no problem. I'll just get through this piece of cake. Little did I know my life would be forever changed because of this program. It's not just about getting clean. It is so much more than that. It is a work in progress every day of your life, even after today. I learned something from each and every person in the program. I soaked it up every single day. To this day, I still hear them in my ear in every single thing I do. It's amazing that I can stand here today and accept this invitation to speak. Before, I had no confidence, no strength. I remember I would always doubt myself constantly. During one of my appointments I had with Carissa, I doubted myself, and she said, "There you go. You're still doing it." Today, yeah, I get nervous, but who doesn't? But to stand here before you all is a lot easier today. Today I have confidence and I have strength. I am a stronger person with the help of this program, and it taught me a whole new way of living. Every single day I'm grateful for a new day. Life is so beautiful today, and it is because it is a life I created, a life worth living. I shared this room on my very own graduation with someone who is no longer here today. That goes to show that this doesn't end today. Don't ever stop working on yourself. You have to practice who you want to be. You don't wake up one day and you're suddenly who you think you want to be. You have to put some energy into it. So if you want to be an honest person, be an honest person every day. If you're going to be a hard worker, hard work just doesn't appear. If you're going to be, you have to practice hard work. You have to practice effort. Good things don't come easy. With that effort, that's where you grow. That's where some of the best times in my life where I've grown, it's when I've done something hard. When I've overcome a fear. You don't realize it when you're doing it until you've come out on the other side. I thought there was some magic in this program where you were magically changed. You have to do the work, go outside your comfort zone. You can do it. Don't let your journey end today. Keep on pushing and keep on fighting. I know this program is strict and that it's extraordinarily difficult to get through, but that's why I'm so proud to celebrate the progress that today's graduates have made, to recognize the achievements of those who are continuing to move along the path to recovery, and to encourage every drug court participant to keep fighting. Keep working hard and keep up your efforts to reclaim your lives. Congratulations on all you've accomplished, and thank you once again for the opportunity to share this moment with you today.
Well, shoot, that's hard to follow. Thank you, Colleen.
My name is Adam McLean. I'm a person in long-term recovery, which means I've been clean and sober for 3,637 days, thanks to the Coconino County Adult DWI and Drug Court. One of the things I'm most proud of is the fact that I'm in recovery. In 2 weeks, I'll have 10 years. Candidly, I thought I was going to die from my drug addiction. If treatment court wasn't there to intervene, I would have died. I mean, 144 heroin addicts die every day from overdose. I imagine I would have been one of those. I never thought I'd make it past 30, and here I am, 31. If I hadn't been given the opportunity to go into treatment court, I would have been released from prison this fall, and I probably wouldn't have a healthy relationship with my family. I wouldn't be married. I wouldn't have the career that I have. I wouldn't have the business that I have right now. I was a high school dropout when I pled into treatment court, and now I'm about 4 months away from being a doctor. People used to believe that addiction is this moral failing, but what we need to really come to terms with is the fact that people that engage in these behaviors have a brain disease. They have a substance use disorder. Incarcerating our way out of a health epidemic is just simply not working. And if somebody was sick, we would treat them as if they were sick. If somebody has diabetes, hypertension, asthma, cancer, we develop a treatment plan for that individual, and treatment court does exactly that. It builds a treatment plan around the individual that has a substance use disorder. truly the only justice system that we have regarding this that's actually working is treatment court.
Every one of us here has been touched by a substance use disorder in some way. We all know someone, love someone, work with someone, or maybe even lost someone who struggles with addiction. Sometimes the courage it takes to admit that is matched only by the courage it takes to those who are fighting the battle themselves. Part of the cruelty of addiction is that it impacts not just the lives of those afflicted, it reaches well beyond that, and it shatters the lives of those who love them and those who are left behind. Unless you have waited for that middle of the night phone call or picked up the pieces for the 100th time, the reality of addiction may be hard to grasp. Tonight it is my privilege to ask someone many of you know to come share his story of addiction from the eyes of a loved one and what you do when your family becomes swept up in the hurricane of addiction. I would like to have Sergeant Bernhanke come up.
How's everybody doing tonight? I'm nervous. Most of you remember me at the door at either one of the courthouses. A lot of you remembered I would get that call to come down to get one of you. And I remember a lot of you guys talking about, oh man, who's he after? He's down here for business. And we'd take that walk. First off, I want to start, I don't want to tell you about a girl I knew once. And she was actually born 31 years earlier. And she graduated from school with honors. And you got the slide up there, Steve? Yeah. We're going to call her Lisa. And she graduated with honors. And for the most part, she was a pretty good kid. And you know what? As life started going along, drugs got in her life. And it kept snowballing. On the next one. And this is her and her brother. She had a good family life. She had a mother. She had a daughter. I'm gonna call there, bud. And one day, the drugs overcame her. I got that call at 3 o'clock in the morning when my own department came to my house. That girl I'm talking about, that was my daughter. And that happened on May the 11th. I'm sorry, April the 13th, 2015. And God, before this got that far, tried everything. She got arrested in the wrong county. She got arrested in Porter County. They didn't have a program like this. If it wasn't for Carissa, the judge, and several other people to help me out. She missed going to a treatment facility by one day. When she OD'd, they had Narcan on the rigs, but they couldn't use it. It wasn't authorized yet. I had several people that responded to it. Had they known it was my daughter, they would have used it anyway. A couple of weeks went by. You could use Narcan now. But I'm what this leaves behind. This problem-solving court has been a therapy for me. Because God knows, as soon as I came back from work after her funeral, you'd never believe what my first arrest was. Somebody down in the problem-solving court. And boy, was I angry. Because here I am taking somebody to jail, they got another break. I didn't believe in problem-solving court when it first started. I thought this is just another way of somebody getting around something. Now, I had to come back and tell the judge, guess what, I gotta eat crow. And you know what? For the last 10 years, I've been eating crow. Because it works. I see every one of the students that come through there, past and present. I've seen every one of you. I seen you when you came in, you were angry for the first day. By the time you get to phase 2 and I ask you how far you're gonna go, well, as far as they'll let me. No, that's not the answer I'm looking for. I'd always make you tell me, I'm going all the way. I'm gonna graduate. And I was always there, every day. If you needed somebody to talk to, I was the guy who'd talk to you. I always had your back. Well, I thought, you know what? I really felt bad about my daughter passing. I got over the anger, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to start telling everybody. I started telling all of y'all when you started taking that walk with me. I'll tell you my story. I had quite a few of you stop by and tell me thanks. I wound up raising my granddaughter since that day. And like I told each and every one of you, you got kids at home, that's what you're leaving behind. You got parents at home, that's what you're leaving behind. They didn't sign up for this. It's not an easy road to hoe, but you'll get through it. I'm proud of you guys for making it. I tell you that every day when you come through. I'm proud of you for being there. I'm proud of you for going through the program. And I'm proud of you, very proud of you, because you graduated. And that was some of my healing, because I seen you guys succeed. Like I say, this whole panel, I gotta thank them. Chris and the judge, they've always been there for me. Always. And that was the only reason that I agreed to come and talk to the class before, and why I'm here tonight. But it's out there. It is out there. If you're parents of somebody that's in the program, hug your kids when you get home. Hug them. If you don't have kids in the program, you guys are here, elected officials, everything else, you need to start dumping more money in this program. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. I sat at the Walmarts one day, watched the fellow walk up to the car, drop off an envelope, the fellow handed him a brick. I knew what it was, because I had been doing this for 35 years. But they done it in broad daylight, in a crowded parking lot. So I know the struggles that you go through, and it is hard. But like I said, I'm proud of you, and I always got an open ear for you. And just keep up the work. If you ever need something, there's something I can do to help you out, just holler. Somebody will find me. But congratulations for everything that you've done. Judge, congratulations on 10 years. You guys do an outstanding job.
Another example of a silent partner that you, well, not so silent, that you've got out there who wants to see you succeed. Thank you so much. Before I introduce our graduates, I want to share a few thoughts from myself and the team. Damon, you started the program on October 28th of 2020. And as boredom is a huge trigger for you, as for so many people, when you came into the program, I asked you, well, what do you like to do? And you couldn't really think of anything, so you just look at that. You told me Netflix. Boy, has that changed. When you first started out, you needed to learn how to get and stay organized. You started setting small goals to meet them, and you had a lot of them. You realized that at this time for you, everything was going to be a trigger. So you began listening to your therapist and your case manager about what to do when you ran into a trigger. You got a job and you started taking care of yourself. Within 6 months, you got your driver's license and you started rethinking what your goals and priorities were. You struggled a bit because you had a hard time trying to figure out balance, staying organized with all your new responsibilities. You got outside your comfort zone. And you started doing Wellness Saturdays, and you realized there was a whole lot more that you liked, just not Netflix. In about 6 months, I asked you, what is the biggest change that you've seen in yourself? And you said motivation, outlook, and attitude. And as it turned out, those three things are the things that turned your life around. You started to be able to handle everyday stresses like a flat tire or a missed appointment in a positive way, and you didn't let your impulsiveness get you into trouble. You started reaching out to people in your support system, and you began feeling something you hadn't felt in a very long time, and that's pride. Your physical health became a real priority for you. As you joined a gym, you started to eat better, and you began to understand that your physical and mental health couldn't be separated. One affects the other. You pushed yourself and you got your GED. And this was a huge boost to your confidence. You began to see that hard work really did pay off and that you could reach a big goal, even if it took some time. It was worth the hard work. And your GED then allowed you to take your career to the next level as you are well on your way, and maybe you are now. You are? Excellent. You are now a licensed HVAC specialist. You started looking at things through a positive lens, and you told me that you were learning what empathy was, and you had started to see life from other people's perspectives, not just your own. Within a year, you met your goal of getting all your dental work done. You began budgeting in earnest. You told me that even though it was very stressful, you were ready for the challenges of dealing with being a grown-up. And since then, you have worked on a very good relapse prevention plan. You've established a home. You have become a father. And you have realized that life can be full and crazy and wonderful and stressful and overwhelming and spectacular all at the same time. And you can handle it because you embraced recovery. You have worked harder at this than you've worked at anything else, and it shows. You are living proof that some people change. We miss you, your attitude and your smile, and we know that you will continue on your path of setting goals and achieving them. We're so proud of you, and we know your family is too. So congratulations, Damon. Chris, you started the program on the same day, October 28th of 2020, and when you started, you were pretty overwhelmed, but that's common. You started with some small goals that you could accomplish, and you began to see that you did have some control over how your life was going. Within a month, you were getting the hang of things. You had a good Thanksgiving with your sister, and that was your first sober one in many years. You told me you noticed your relationships were so much better without drugs and alcohol. You got a second job, which you maintained through most of your time in the program, and it was really helpful as you began reducing your debt and being responsible with your money. You had your first sober Christmas where you weren't in jail, and I know that was meaningful to you. You had a few hiccups, but you didn't let it stop you. I have a note from about 6 months in which says, if things are not going his way, he now stops to remember it's not all about him, and he starts to think about what's best in the long run. You liked that at least early on in your recovery, we held you accountable when maybe you weren't able to hold yourself accountable. And I asked you what you were most proud of early on, and you said seeing results. Within your first year, you started to see that honesty and finding balance was important, and so you put extra effort into both of those. One of the things that I know you're most proud of is your relationship with your children. You have made so many amends there, and you have worked very hard to be there for each of them in different ways, which is remarkable. You suffered a devastating loss, but you did not let that stop you, or your growth, or your recovery. In fact, I think it strengthened your resolve, and I know it continues to strengthen your resolve. A year into the program, I asked you what you were most proud of. You said, putting my thoughts into actions. You began to find hobbies like bowling, and you started volunteering. You found out who you are, Chris, and I think you like that person very much. You have never stopped learning in your recovery, and you soak up knowledge and advice just like a sponge. You have learned how to turn a lemon into lemonade, and you have inspired so many people. I am sure you don't even realize in your quiet humility what an amazing job you do. You didn't just stop using drugs and alcohol. You changed everything about the person that you used to be, and you have become that butterfly who flew away to a much better future. We're so proud of your hard work, and you need to be so proud of yourself too. You deserve all the happiness in the world. We miss your wonderful smile and your attitude, and we hope you come back and see us. Congratulations and good luck, Chris. I should explain that we have about 2 or 3 graduations a year. So people have to complete the 5 phases of this program. When they do, they graduate and they get their certificate. So Damon and Chris have already technically graduated, but this is their commencement ceremony. Our other 2 graduates tonight are actually graduating today, so they will get their certificates today. So, Missy, you started the program in April of 2021, and the person who sits here this evening bears absolutely no resemblance to the woman who came into this program 18 months ago. You came into the program as a victim, and you are leaving as a warrior. When you started, you struggled with boundaries. You had to learn the warning signs for relapse and apply that to your journey. You started to take care of your health physically and mentally, and you told me how surprised you were that you were starting to feel so much better. As you began to feel better physically, your attitude became more optimistic, and you even looked different. You started to get enthusiastic about things as new opportunities and possibilities opened up. More than most, you have allowed yourself to be open to new ideas from this team, and you incorporated so many new things into your routine that you're building. You've got a sponsor early on, and that relationship that you established has been life-changing. Not only have you made changes that you never thought possible, but you're changing lives of others by your can-do attitude. You have had many roadblocks and curveballs, and that's been frustrating to you, I know. But through it all, you have faced each situation with an attitude that it was a challenge to be addressed, not a problem. Your humility and gratitude has been a big part of your success. Recently, you had a situation come up that 2 years ago would have been an excuse for you to lose all control. However, now you simply looked at it and said, you were very grateful things weren't worse. You have always excelled at work, but it has only been in the last year that you have really come to see your value far beyond your work environment. You have taken every advantage to learn about your triggers, find ways to cope with stress, make time for yourself, and be good to the person you're becoming. Once you learned how to say no to the wrong people, the right people entered your life, and you have let their wisdom and kindness guide you in a whole new direction. You've established a life you no longer want to escape from. You've not always made the right choices, but every mistake has been a learning experience for you, and you have most certainly learned a lot. You have realized you can control your destiny, and you are braver and stronger than you realized. And that has been a privilege to see you as you accomplish so many of your goals. About a year ago, I asked what you thought you had learned, and you said to live life on life's terms, to keep building self-confidence, and to ask for help. I think that's great advice for all of us. You have gotten so far out of your comfort zone, you can't even see where you started. So, like everyone else here tonight, you know that what you've built is both powerful and fragile at the same time. The future's in your control, and the choices you make will determine where you go from here. Honesty, accountability, humility, determination, focus have gotten you here. As long as you keep doing what you know works, there will be no stopping you. So don't stop believing in what you can do ever. This whole team's proud of you and believes that while you have challenges ahead, you will meet them head on and be successful. So congratulations, Missy. And finally, Ryan. Ryan, you joined the program in May of 2021. And since then, we have had the pleasure of watching you grow from an insecure and confused young man to someone who has dreams and the focus to achieve them. Alcohol had ruined nearly everything in your life. You had tried so many times in the past to find recovery, but you never stuck to it. This time you were ready, and that has made all the difference. You had a wonderful and supportive family, but that's never enough. This time you wanted recovery for you, and you have put in the work to be here today. One of the first things you started working on was your organization and your procrastination. You were very open to new ideas, and you started practicing new coping skills and began protecting yourself by enforcing good boundaries. That is not an easy thing to do. It's hard for anyone. But you began realizing that only by saying no to the wrong people would things start going right. When triggers hit, you began using your brand new skills. One of the things that has been a challenge is being willing to get out of your comfort zone and to try new things. And usually when you've done it, you've been pleasantly surprised at how positive things turned out. Like everyone in this program, you wanted to see change happen overnight, and you were impatient at how long the process takes. I think you see now, though, that changing your lifestyle and your mindset takes time. For something to last, it takes practice, and you have spent a great deal of time practicing your new skills. Change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere that you don't belong. About 6 months into the program, I asked, what could throw you off? And you said, my old ways of thinking, which of course reminded me of the famous quote and saying by Lao Tse, which is, watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for that becomes your destiny. In earnest, you began taking care of your physical health, and you achieved the goal of getting your driver's license back, and you got a car. You began to volunteer in the community, you got a sponsor, and you started to feel more comfortable telling your story. You began seeing the big picture, and the quote you brought to court after about a year showed how much you had grown. It was the famous Wayne Gretzky quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. After a full year, you had established a whole new healthy routine balancing your sobriety, work, family, health, and hobbies. It was not easy, but you did it because you wanted it more than you wanted to stay on the path you were on. To keep yourself motivated, you started a bucket list, and I know you're working on it. You have used your time at the program to do the hard 24/7 work of changing your life, letting go of old habits that were killing you and finding new ways to cope every day. You now like the person you are when you look in the mirror, and you have reason to be proud. The only thing that can stop you now, Ryan, is you. You know that we are here to help encourage you. If days are dark, we're here to help encourage you if things are going well. So stay in touch. We're proud of you. Congratulations. And so I will give Missy and Ryan their certificates. And Missy, I think you wanted to come up and say a few words. Okay.
Hi, my name is Missy. I'm an alcoholic. I wasn't gonna read this. I was kind of just gonna just go, but I'm already crying so much that I think I'm just gonna read this instead of talking. I've always had a love for the water, and it has always drawn me in. My friends used to call me the river queen or the river guru because I knew all the good spots to get in and out for a float, how long it would take by the conditions of the river, and I was always prepared for a day-long float. There's quite a few times that my parents came, picked me and all my friends up because we decided to go a little longer. So when I saw this quote, it really kind of hit me. And it's, we need to stop pulling people from the river. We need to stop pulling people from the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they keep falling in. And that really touched my soul. My addiction was like a brick, and it was drowning me slowly. This program went up river to find out why I fell in and help me keep above water and make it to shore. Through therapy, accountability, and finding myself again, I was able to stand on dry land. I was no longer drifting downstream aimlessly. I will forever be grateful for all the resources and people I was given to help me on this journey. A dear friend of mine used to say that as alcoholics and addicts, we get 3 lives. The one before addiction, the one during, and the one after. I am so grateful for my new life and all the things that it has in store. Thank you to my parents who have loved me unconditionally. When God chose my parents, He could not have blessed me with 2 better people. Thank you to my Black Sheep family in AA, my friends that have stuck by my side through the years, the people of problem-solving court, and my coworkers who have become family. You have all supported my growth, changed, and believed in me. Thank you for loving me until I love myself again. I'm forever grateful.
As we start to close the evening, I'm pleased to do what I think is the most meaningful part of our time together. It's a tradition in drug court ceremonies across the country for more than 30 years to ask the arresting officers to come to the front, shake the hands of the graduates that they once put handcuffs on. As you can imagine, it's transformative for both sides. So may I have the team come down here, please? And if I could have Detective Sergeant Drangmeister, Officer Miller, or Deputy Dobralski. All right, and can I get you guys to come on up here? Not as worth time. And thank you to all law enforcement who has the difficult task of doing what you do, but actually saving people's lives. So thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't take a quick moment to thank the families who are here tonight. After Sergeant Hunky, I know your hearts are both aching and full as you watch us celebrate with your loved ones. Like Sergeant Hunky, you have been through hell and back. Your loved ones have done the hard work, but you have had to help. You have had to learn to adapt, and you have had to have immense faith that small miracles were happening even if you couldn't always see them. So thank you for your patience and for your courage and for your trust in this program and in your loved ones. Thank you for not giving up on them and for giving them another chance at life. To Damon, Chris, Missy, and Ryan, please know that your efforts have changed our lives, your families' lives, but also the lives of our county and our state. Because of you, we are safer and better. Our community is healthier and stronger because of the life changes that you have made. What Nelson Mandela said will always be true. Once a person is determined to help themselves, there is nothing that can stop them. You prove that each day. So keep doing what you're doing, and you can achieve anything you want. To end the evening, I want to ask my dear friend, Evan Wooding, who is a truly remarkable member of the Hoosier Star family, to come up and share a song with you. Evan chose this song to remind you that each day matters and that being mindful of the here and now is the only way to make sure that your tomorrows bring you what you seek. It isn't the destination that matters, but rather the journey, or in this case, it's the climb.
Thank you, Judge Friedman. You guys matter, and we celebrate you tonight. I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming. There's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels I'm lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, but I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. Girl,
Before everybody disperses, could I get the graduates to come up here for a photo? Thank you, everyone, for your support. It means the world to these people and to the people in this program. Happy holidays, and we've got water and cupcakes. So, thank you.